All right, Michael. So do you reckon it's a good idea for young boys to get part-time jobs?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Because again, it's about a sense of achievement you get that's outside of your computer games or outside of, your school. It's something out there that you're doing. You're away from the people who are bullying you. You're out there achieving something. You're earning money. You're feeling like an individual. You're feeling like you're an adult. And a lot of parents will sort of think, oh, I don't want my child to go and get a part-time job. I want him to put all his time and energy into school. Well, one, he's not doing that anyway. Let's be honest. But two, you want a well-rounded kid. You want someone who's able to be responsible and grown up, and part of that is learning to take orders from people, and that's out there in the workforce. So I just think it's a fantastic thing, and I'm yet to meet a young man who's doing that who doesn't appear to be a bit stronger in himself.
Absolutely. And you just touched on it there, is that it teaches you important things. Okay, so being able to take orders, kids have to do with teachers, at least until the end of year 12. And then from there, bosses, it never gets easier for them. So being able to accept that relationship with authority and to be able to use that in positive ways, really important step. Another thing that you get from the part-time job is social skills. And as a tutor and a teacher, this is something that I've seen time and time and again, particularly with high school age boys, is that the amount of time that they spend face-to-face with human beings is limited basically to the classroom. And even then, heads down, I'm on my phone under the desk, I'm not really talking, interacting with people. Then I go home, I sit in front of the computer, I sit in front of the PlayStation. Where am I learning to talk to people? Even the family relationships. So you see those ads that they've got on TV now where we're linking back to bring family back to the table to dinner, because that's about the only social interaction that these kids are going to get outside of school. So that thing is so important, that building relationships with human beings, because we're a social animal. We don't live in isolation. When it comes to the workplace, one of the first things job interviewers are looking for is body language, is gesture, is the way that they speak, the self-confidence, and all of that comes from interacting with people on a regular basis to take away that fear. So part-time work, team sports as well, is a great way to do it, but particularly part-time work, because you start to build professional relationships, is a huge, huge stepping stone in a young man's self-esteem, self-confidence, self-worth, and it's going to produce unlimited times better things than sitting in front of a computer game and kicking nerds' butts is.
It's so funny, really, because a lot of parents watching are going to be like, why does my child hide away in computer games? He gets success, he gets to hide away from the real dramas of his life, and he just feels like the man in that little realm, and then he steps away from the screen and he doesn't feel like the man again. And it's sort of real interpersonal relationships. Like Jared and I, before we just went for a coffee, we hung out, we actually talked to each other. It wasn't sitting there on our phones.
That's a ridiculous thing, is going out on a date with your missus or whatever, and you see another couple out there and they're not looking at each other, they're not talking to each other, they're just swiping on the phones, and you go, God, I'm glad that's not us. And then she looks up from her phone and says, what?
how old school are we? Anyway, but yeah, we need our kids away from the screens to learn how to interact with others. A part-time job's part of that. Like you said, team sports. It's healthy for them to have some screen time, but it's very healthy for them to have a lot of other time where they're actually interacting with people.